Namaste. Today we are going to react to Philomena Cunk on America. So we have seen British and American people have this continuous banter going on against each other. They say these people are like this, and Americans go after everyone, British people, then Europeans and this and that. And even Britishers go against these American people, okay, you guys are like this and that. So now Philomena Cunk is one of the hilarious person I've ever seen. I saw one video of her and she was very hilarious in that. Now we will see what she talks about America. So this video is in about 2 parts, so we will see how she is.
Yes, I have no idea who she is, but I just know that she's going to be very sarcastic, as you said, and you have to understand what she's saying. So let's see.
So this is our first time watching, so let's see how good Philomena Cunk is.
Ask a medieval peasant where America was and you'd get a blank look. Or worse still, the plague.
Colombo thought that if he sailed off the edge of the map, he'd reappear on the other side like Pac-Man. At first, the European colonists found life
have you played Pac-Man? That game, where there was a game in which that mouth was there and he used to eat those dots.
Yeah.
So once you go from this side, you appear on that side. So Columbus discovered America.
Yeah.
So Columbus, he's saying Columbus thought, so he thought that when he goes from this place, he would magically appear on this place. So that's what he's making fun of. But then he found America, no?
Right.
in the New World hard. Luckily, some Native Americans taught them how to grow corn and where to fish. In exchange, the colonists introduced the Native Americans to smallpox.
After arriving in America to forge a life of honest hard work and toil, many of these colonists quickly discovered they couldn't be arsed. So they stole people from Africa and made them do it instead. What started the tension between the British and the Americans? Was it because you say cookies and we say biscuits, and you say sidewalk and we say pavement? Because I find in a relationship it's those little things that start to grate after a while. So when the people in Boston got angry with the British, why did they just hold a prissy tea party instead of having a proper fight like British men would?
Would you voluntarily, when you didn't have to, go to jail?
It depends what facilities they had, I think.
96, the leaders of the 13 colonies decided that they didn't want to be called British anymore, but Americans.
This straight white supergroup known as the Founding Fathers drafted the most famous breakup text in history, the Declaration of Independence.
Had invented camouflage yet.
Breakup text.
The British troops of the time wore bright red coats and were consequently shot in their thousands while looking amazing. George Washington crossing the Delaware River.
As you can see, he had to stand up for the whole journey because he hadn't reserved a seat. He didn't fall in, but he also didn't help with the rowing.
Oh, so the part one was actually hilarious.
Yeah.
She's very subtle with it.
Yeah, I mean, if someone watches this on mute for the first time, they'll feel like this is an information video and she's talking something serious.
About American history and about and not. And this is very interesting to see someone else talk about your history.
Yes.
So this is a British girl talking about American history and she's so funny with it. The way she subtly takes, okay, this is the best breakup text.
Yeah, and then he couldn't sit because he did not book a seat.
Yeah, but that photo is actually very iconic. He's standing like this and he couldn't book a seat. Wow. So let's see the part 2.
Eventually Washington won, becoming America's first president, the single most revered role in the world, until 2016. I read somewhere that America isn't just a country but an idea. But it is just a country, isn't it? Having a sandwich, that's an idea. Painting your bicycle blue, that's an idea. Going, that's an idea. America is just a place.
She's so torturous.
They believed in something called manifest destiny, the belief that all the land belonged to them, and that God wanted them to go west and claim it back from the Native Americans who put there first by mistake. Manifesting your destiny was dangerous.
So this is so nice. So the Native Americans were already there.
Okay.
And so the British people, what happened was, so Britain captured, colonized America. And so due to that, more British people were there. And now those people, got freedom from Britishers. So now these people, captured Native American lands.
Okay.
So they say like God, like what these people say that God asked us to do this.
Oh.
So like, and then she said that Native Americans did it. They were there first by mistake.
Okay.
So she's so hilarious. She knows everything about history and she just picks and chooses and makes fun of them.
You had to trundle across a perilous landscape in a rickety wagon on the brink of starvation or shitting yourself to death with dysentery, getting bitten by snakes or butchered by Apaches, almost as if God didn't want them to do this after all. But Americans back then weren't the humble, unassuming people they still aren't today. It's hard to imagine a world where Edison didn't invent the light bulb. And even if you did imagine it, it would be too dark to see what was in it. So we had daylight during the day and we had candles at night.
Yes.
So we didn't need light bulbs. His life's work was meaningless. That must have been a real moment the first time someone realised a plane needed a toilet. That's more impressive than the Wright brothers. So firearms is an integral part of them.
Yes, actually. Like when mom decided you need a toilet because everybody was defecating in public.
Yeah.
And there was someone like, okay, we need a private toilet to just do it privately in some place where it goes there. It is better than Wright brothers. You know who Wright brothers are?
No.
The one who invented airplanes.
Okay.
They are even better than those.
National identity. How come Americans have the right to kill anyone they want with a gun?
Well, they don't. Murder is illegal in the United States, but they do have the right to own weapons.
They have the right to bear arms.
Correct.
But bears don't have arms.
They do, actually.
Oh, do they? I thought they were legs.
Well, I'm not a biologist, but I suppose that when they stand up, they're probably arms.
Oh
With
man.
its cowboys and guns and steam train rides, America became known as the land of the free, which must have come as a surprise to all the slaves. But by finally thinking hard about the subject, the people of the northern states made a horrifying discovery. That inside each slave was an actual human person. In the theatre box, wasn't he? Where is that on the body?
Oh, I think...
And why was he shot? Was it because he wouldn't take his hat off? Because that's quite annoying in the theatre, isn't it, when someone's in front of you with a hat on?
Well, he was in the...
How did being shot in the head affect Lincoln's ability to lead?
Well, it ended it because he died about 12 hours after he was shot.
So he couldn't carry on.
He couldn't. No, not as a corpse, unfortunately.
Lincoln's life may have been snuffed.
I'm afraid.
Why don't bicycles have toilets? You know, it would save you having to get off. I might write that down and copyright it. Even without a toilet,
What was she like?
Why don't bicycles have toilets?
Why?
No, she said because you can have them. If you have them, I will copyright it down because that is a very good idea.
Oh.
Because you don't have to get down then. You have to shit just, and then you keep going.
Wright brothers' historic flight changed transportation forever in ways that still aren't fully understood.
the Wright brothers did the first proper flight over 100 years ago. How come we're still not any closer to working out how aeroplanes actually work? That's your theory. Do you want to hear my theory?
Okay.
I think they run on belief. It's just because we believe planes can fly that they do. So the media has to keep up the pretense, or they're just going to start dropping out in the sky.
Oh,
Same with
God.
Wi-Fi. There's no way that's real. We just have to go along with this panto. The Civil War
person is so
tore
clueless.
America apart, didn't it? Brother turned on brother. Did anyone get so conflicted they turned on them?
But Abraham Lincoln's story didn't have a happy ending. 5 days after the North won, a terrible fate befell him. He was forced to go to the theatre to watch a play.
He was put out of his misery by a kindly gunman, but cruelly, not until the third act.
This is hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh man, she talks about things very differently. So actually what happened was Abraham Lincoln went to that theater, he was killed by that person, and the thing is like, that's how you talk about it. But she's like, that the worst thing happened to him was watching that act on theater.
Oh God.
And he was saved by the guy who killed him, and the thing is, the worst part was he was saved after the third act.
Oh
So that was the worst part. So the way she talks about it with a straight face
Yeah,
is
I mean,
hilarious.
her perspectives are so different, her point of views are so different.
And how can she say that those things with a straight face? Like, that gun part also.
I'm sure they must be taking a lot of retakes.
Yeah, and the thing was about the gun part also. When she talked about like, okay, well, how do you think? So like, okay, why are people given guns? So
Yeah.
people are allowed to have guns to protect themselves. So they have bare arms. So he said, yeah, they have bare arms. So bear do not have arms. So he said, no, bear have arms. When they are standing, they have arms. Then they go down, they have legs. The way they
Oh,
talk about
God.
things is very bullshit, but very, very fun to watch.
Yeah, I think my sister and me, we also argue on such stupid things and we keep our stupid points. But that's how you keep going the fun. Yeah, so that point wherein, she said that he was standing during the whole thing, and just like how you said, he was standing with so much of elegance and power in his eyes, but she destroyed it in a second by saying that he couldn't book a seat, and that's why he had to stand throughout the journey.
And America is known as the land of free. It came as a shock to the slaves.
Yeah, and they came to know that inside the slaves there are human beings.
It was a shock for them. So the way she says it is very hilarious, because yes, Americans, people do that. They do what, history washing. What they do is, like, whenever you talk, like in India also, many people will go and like, we were the best and we did that and those. But when you go scroll through history, you find mistakes in them also.
Yes.
And similarly, when Americans say this, there are mistakes, and she just berates them, and that is so fun to watch. What are your thoughts about it? Do let us know in the comment section below. So do like, share, and
Subscribe.
bye.